Hello everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com with another video. This will be probably our last video as far as building the back end goes. In this video what we're going to do is we're going to build authentication. So we're going to add the ability to add and subtract users, and that it's required to be logged in order to access the different routes, and that you need JWT tokens. In order to do that, a couple things we're going to want to do first is we need to have a user class. Like there's a built-in admin class inside of Django, but we're going to want something custom so we can do that, or we're going to want to serialize it really. Okay, so see, we're going to go back to where we made our serializers, and we're going to go serialize users because we're going to be using users. Okay, so I'm going to head over to where I did my serializers, and we're going to want to import users, and that's going to be from, here's what I'll do this, so that way it's easier to reference. Okay, and what we want to do is import from there, so from Django.contrib.auth.models import, I'm not going to worry about a group at the moment. Okay, well, we might as well just do it while we're there. Group, even though we won't really be using that. Okay, so then we'll just create a class for user serializer. Serializers, well, I need to bring that in too. So that's hyperlinked model serializer, because we're linking to an existing model somewhere else that's already built into Django. Hyperlinked model serializer. Again, then same deal, class model equals user, fields equal user, username, email, interesting, email, groups. There we go. Okay. Class group serializer. Once again, hyperlinked model serializer. Oh, I see here. Here we should have class meta. Class meta model equals group, fields equal URL, name. There we go. So we got that all set. Okay, and then we need to create view sets for them as well. Okay, why? Because we want to be able to make API calls. Okay, we're going to also want to set, we also going to want to now set permission class. Now, so this is going to allow us to specify whether we want it to be authenticated or not. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have to import to do. From there, so also import our other serializers. So user serializer. Let's see here. What did we call a user serializer? Yeah. So import from API.serializers, user serializer. Yep. And then groups serializer. Okay, and then from REST framework, this framework, we want to dot permissions. We're going to import allow any and is authenticated. Actually, I'm not going to use allow any. Is authenticated is what I want, and which just means you have to be authenticated to be inside. So we're going to add it to our to-do, a permission class. Okay, and then we just add an array with is authenticated. And here's what I will do. I'm just going to copy this to save some time. And here we're going to have our user views for users, which is going to be using, oh, I'm going to have to import user as well. So I'm going to need to import, I'll just copy this from over here, Control C. There we go. Because we need to put in that default search. So user serializer and is authenticated, and then here will be group views. Should be group.objects.all using the group serializer. Okay, so now we should have an API that works with users. So I should be able to create users and such. So let's try that out. So Python run server. Oh, doesn't like something. Class user serializer. Class hyperlink. Oh, I think I'm missing a colon. So let's go back to serializers. And I'm missing a colon on all of these. Colon. There we go. Now let's see what it doesn't like. Can I import name is authenticated from REST framework dot permissions? Let me just take a look here. REST framework dot permissions. Oh, is authenticated capital. So is okay. Machine class is not defined. Okay, let's see here. Is not defined. What did we call it? Permission classes. Oops. And that should be equals. Permission classes equal is authenticated. Classes equals is authenticated. Classes equals authenticated. Okay, and okay, now we're back up and running. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up Postman. And now we'll test out creating a user real quick. Okay, so I am going to do a post. And we're gonna do, well, actually no, that won't work because I haven't created, we have the view sets, but I haven't connected them to URLs. So let's go back to URLs, and let's just register another router. So to do views, user views, and then this will be for user, and this will be user views. Okay. Okie dokie. Allow. Oh, but it's going to error because I need to be authenticated. So for users, let's actually use the allow any. See if we can create a user. Allow any. And for users, we'll say allow any. Okay. So user, let me just make sure that I'm looking at this right. So that's in URLs, it's user. So it should be localhost 8000/user. And to create something is always a post request. So let's see here. Let's make this bigger. So it should be username. We'll just say Alex Merced 2. Password. You will say cheese. And email. You will say alex2@alexmerced.com. Okay, so that is going to be raw JSON being sent to here. And let's see how that goes. Could not send request. Oh, because there's a typo. 8000T. There we go. Properly configured. User is not valid for model user. Let's see here. Let's go. So that'd be in our serializers. Oh, that's supposed to be URL. Okay, so let's try Postman again. Okay, and then we created a, looks like we created a new user. Now let's try to get all the users. So there's the user I created before and the new user, so good. Okay, good. We've created users. So we can add and subtract users. That's all fine and good. Okay. Now that we know we can create users, the next step is to add the authentication. So I'm going to turn off the server with Control-C. And what we need to do is we're going to install a library to help us set up JWT authentication. Okay. And that's going to be this right here. So we're going to do a pip install. So pip install Django REST framework simpleJWT. So this is just there's other JWT libraries. This is just a real easy one. So that installs it. Now that's installed. And we're just going to add this to our settings.py. This just adds a, and you can add it pretty much anywhere. Okay, and this just basically adds an authentication class. So that, because now we know that when it has permission is authenticated, it needs to be authenticated, but we also are going to want to specify how is it authenticated. Is it using a cookie? Is it using a token? This is going to allow us to say we want it through a JWT token. Okay, cool. So that, we'll do that. Then we're going to want to add some routes to test this out. So we're going to just copy these two routes from here. Okay, well first we want to import these things from there. So we're going to go back to our URLs. URLs. I'm going to import this stuff from simpleJWT. Okay, and then we're going to copy these two URL patterns to our URL patterns, and I'm going to put them before that blank path. And this just creates two paths that just test that the tokens are working. Okay, now we're going to update our models to make sure that they can take a token. So now we're going to add this line right here. So we're going to go back to our serializers, or actually our view sets. Views. Okay, and then we're going to need to import this line right here. This is going to just bring in that authentication set. And actually I'm going to just change this up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to say dot authentication, so that we don't have to type in authentication. And all I really want is the JWT one, so import JWT authentication. Cool. So now I can add authentication classes equals, and this has to be in parentheses because it's like a tuple, JWT authentication, and you have to put a comma after it. Okay, and I'm going to add that to that in groups, not to users, because for now I want users to be allowed, because I want people to be able to create a new user. It'd be kind of weird if they needed a JWT token before they can get a JWT token. So I'll leave that like that for now. Ideal world, we'd get a little bit more granular and say, okay, we allow anyone to create a user, but you can't like pull up the full list of users or something like that. But this is fine for now. Okay, so that's that. Let me just go back to the URLs. Okay, and then let's just test this out. Okay. Reviews. Refresh. Okay, token obtain, pair, token refresh. Also going to want to try to set up a login route API token. Okay, I kind of remember how this works. Okay. So let's run our server. So you can see Python and Django is in my day-to-day stack. Okay, so go back to Python. Basically, we're going to use that token URL. So basically this API token endpoint, and that's where we're going to go get our token. So I will just open it up in a separate tab, localhost 8000 /API /token, and then we're going to want to do a post to that with our username and password. So body raw JSON username Alex Merced 2 password cheese. There we go. And let's try that out. What did I put here? Cheese. No, what did I put here? Set 2. I'll also add the email. Now that user definitely exists. So let's go take a look at our directions, see if we skipped a step. Okay, we connected this. The authentication, I'd rather get refresh tokens. Okay, we did that. We connected the JWT token. Yeah, that's all fine. Let me go back over here and just bring my list of users. And I do have Alex Merced 2 as a user. No active account found with the given credentials. Maybe it has to be a super user by default, which is something I'm sure we could change later on. Okay, manage that pie. Let's create another super user. call it alexmerced3, alex3 at alexmerced.com. Cheese. Yes. Okay, let's run the server again. So this time's gonna be alexmerced3. And let's try this again. And that time it worked. So I guess it has to be a super user. Cool. Refresh. So here's my really, this is the token that I want. Okay, because now if I go over here and I say to do, so if I go to do slash, and I want to get the full list of to-dos, see, I get authentication credentials were not provided. Okay. Oh no. Okay. So what I need to do is go to headers, add an authorization header. Now here's the thing. For this particular framework, it actually looks for the word bearer to be uppercase. So I know that's not like other times you use bearer tokens in other frameworks, but that's what it wants. Then you copy the token there, take off the quotation marks. And then when I click send, and there you go. See, now I can access my list of to-dos. Cool. So now you have it where you need your user token to do the thing. So life is good. You can, again, further customize it, but we'll work with this for now. But we'll get started on React. So we'll just make it a quick page where we can log in with our existing username in React, and then on the other side see our list of to-dos, and maybe even add a to-do. But just to give you an idea. Okay, but with that, what we're going to do is we're going to push this up and deploy it. So let me go back over here. We'll see. Do a git add dot git commit dash m final git push origin main. Okay, now we're going to head back to Heroku. There we go. Django React project backend. So it's building. We're gonna wait for that to finish. That's fine. Let's see why it failed. Oh, I know why it failed. Yep, we forgot to update the requirements.txt. So because we've installed all these new libraries, we need to redo our requirements.txt. So pip freeze, and then requirements.txt. And now our requirements.txt should be updated. So see, now it has Django REST Framework and Django simpleJWT. So then we do the same thing again, git add, git commit dash m, requirements.txt update, git push origin main. That pushes the code back up. Let's go back to Heroku. Wait for a new build to begin. And again, like, Heroku should have picked up that this is using Postgres already. So if I look over here, if I reveal my config vars, I should see like it already made a database for me. I didn't have to do anything. So let's just be aware of that. So you really shouldn't have to worry too much about environmental variables here. But we just wait for this build to finish. Build failed. Okay, let's see why. No matching distribution found Django REST framework. Okay, so it's not finding that particular version of Django REST framework. So what we're going to do is we'll just downgrade it to 4. Because it says it does find 4.4.0. So it must be looking somewhere else. I mean, that's what we downloaded. But we will change our requirements.txt to 4.4. And then we'll just do this all again. Git add, git commit, git push. And yeah, this is deployment life. You deploy, You make sure the build runs fine. If not, you take a look at what caused the build to error, you fix it, and you keep doing it till the build succeeds. So let's watch this new build. It's doing all the things. And you got to keep in mind that like Heroku is ephemeral, meaning like it's kind of ephemeral just means it kind of like doesn't exist in the sense that your application is running on a server, but it's constantly being restarted and rebuilt. That's why you don't use SQLite 3, because your SQLite database would just get erased every time Heroku decides to run your container of your project somewhere else. So when you get like a Heroku Postgres database, that's not ephemeral. So that's why you always want like any kind of anything that's persistent. Anything that's persistent has to be kind of exist outside of your project. Okay, it's deployed. It's not going to be working yet because we need to migrate our database. So I'm going to click here, more, run console. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Heroku run my. I don't need to make migrations. I just need to migrate, and that should fix everything. Because that'll create the database, attaching to Dino. And then that will connect to the Heroku database. Oh, that's right. Wrong command. Let's try that again. Okay. Can I type another command? Nope. Run another command down here. What I really want to do is Python manage.py migrate. Okay, and that's doing all the migrations. Waiting for it to finish. I think it finished. Just can't see that very bottom line, which is fine. But that's what we needed to do. So now I can open. Oh, I need to actually do another thing. Run console. We need to create a super user. Manage Python manage.py create super user. Okay. It's doing the thing. So let's just say Alex Merced. Alex at alexmerced.com. Cheese. That's fine. Okay, good. We have a super user. And now we can test out our API. So let's open the app. Cool. That's a good sign. That means it's doing its thing. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this URL here. Copy. Well, actually, first we need to copy the token refresh stuff. But we'll just try it out. Like if I click on here, token user, see authentication credentials were not provided because I don't have a token. So we're going to need to go copy the first part of this URL. Go back to Postman. And go back over here where we're going to do users and just replace this part with our new URL from Heroku. Okay, and again, now it's Alex Merced is the username and password is cheese, so I hit send. That should give me my token. Oh, I get a token, why not? Let's do the preview method. Object decode. Interesting, where? So let's do this. Let's go back and post this here. I should be able to get the list of users because again we put allow any on users. So let's just see, did the user actually get created? token not valid for any token type. Oh, let's take off the token header. There we go. So yeah, the user was created. Object has no. Now, why is that? Attribute error. String object has no. Quarks. Through this error. Okay. Let's try that. Headers. Anything else I need to take out? Authorization. Nope. JSON. Token. That might have to do with the versioning of JWT library. So let me figure that out. Why won't it download the new one? But I'll troubleshoot that and we'll come back to that in the new video. But the idea is that it's deployed. We can now hit our API. We just need to troubleshoot this error. So I'll come back to you on that on the next video.